Hello everybody, welcome back to Zen's AI Corner, where I use plain English to introduce you to explain the terminologies in AI world. So today I want to talk about the topic I want to talk is a couple of things. The first thing I want to talk about is the parameters. And I don't know if you notice that when we're talking about the AI module, we all talk about 70 billion, 640 billion, 3 billion, 1.5 billion. What are those billions? Right? What are the billions? So what actually that means? For example, like I currently having the Olama. If you don't know what Olama is, it's a localized AI solution which you can deploy the larger module on your local machine. If you're interested, I can have a special like a video which will talk about how to use it. But if you go to the modules, for example, which I'm currently opening, you see like 20 billion, 120 billions, right? And talking about like 1.5 billion, 7 billion, 8 billions, right? What are those billions, right? The billions represent the weight in the large language module area. So what, if you don't know, understand what the weight is, it's basically it representing the capability, the knowledge of the AI process. For example, 20 billion parameter, even it's very strong already, it's 20 billion, right? But talking about the capability, when I talk about capability, that means the knowledge, right? The capability of logical thinking, right? 120 billion is much better than 20 billion. But most of the time, you may find the 20 billion is already good enough. So really specific to your use case, right? So if you somebody says, okay, if the 120 billion, or in the other case, like 70 billion, of course, is better than 1.5 billion. This is DeepSeek R1, right? Why I want to use 1.5 billion? The reason being is bigger the weight is, the parameter size is, the slower the response will be. Even like 70 billion module will have a higher quality of the output, but 1.5 billion parameter will have a quicker response. So it's really like trade-off. You want a fast response time with okay quality, or you definitely want to have something with your very high quality responses and you have all the time in the world. So that's just giving you an example, right, based on a scenario. So speed is number one, things which is the differences, and the quality is number two about the differences. Like a smaller size, the parameter, the speed will be faster, response speed will be faster, but the quality will not as good as a large size parameter. And also the GPU, the RAM, right, the memory required for your laptop or for your server will be different. 1.5 billion, of course, probably can probably running on your phone, right? But if you want to run something like a 70 billion, 671 billion, forget about it. Even your best MacBook M5 probably won't be good enough to run those modules, right? So that's number two. So that's another scenario. So apart from the speed and the quality, the larger the parameter is for a larger module, more memories, higher GPU, more GPU is required. So that's something which you can consider. So that is about the parameter of the larger module, if you're wondering what it is. So that's the first topic. The second topic I want to talk about is the prompt, right? So the QR code on the screen is actually my YouTube channel. If you want to know more about AI, you can scan this QR code, come to my YouTube channel. You're welcome. And if you already subscribed, thank you very much. So what I want to talk about today is about the prompt, right? In the past video, I kind of talking about the large language module, and we'll have the context window, right? Right, context window. And the context window basically is the space for people to put their message in, right? For example, this is the large language module. That's a LLM, right? Large language module, right? And they inside large language module with context window. Context window, as I mentioned, is for people to enter their messages. For example, I say, "Hey, how are you? What are you doing?" This could be a prompt which should be fitting into context window, right? Let's say like a user say, let's say Zen, it's me, right? Hey, how are you? Right? then AI might say, hey, I'm fine, thank you, and you? For example, like that. So this is the prompt. The other messages doesn't matter. It's the user prompt, the user message, which is Zen said, how are you? Or the AI message, I'm fine, thank you, and you. They all prompts, right? They all prompts. And also, you might heard about there another prompt called a system prompt. So what a system prompt is? System prompt basically is about instructions, which before you start conversation, it gives to the large language module. For example, you often heard about it, like I said, you are help for assistant. Your name is Alto. For example, like that, right? This is called a system prompt, right? Most of the time when you talk on ChatGPT or you talk with some large language module, you don't really see system prompt because sometimes most of the time it's configured, right, by like a configuration file, right? But the other time you often see those user prompt or I would say the system prompt. Let me just like organize that thing nice better. So the other prompt. So don't worry if you don't understand like what system prompt and the user prompt are. Don't worry. They just keep in mind. They just the message you send to large language module because before you actually send those message, the large language module just have a empty context window. If you don't know what context window is, it's just like a chat box. It's empty, nothing inside, right? Then it's either by you or by the engineer or by a developer. They will put the system prompt, right? System prompt. And if you're a developer, sometimes like for example, you are using Olama SDK or you're using LangChain SDK, you can set like a large language module dot set like system prompt. You can set those things, and those system prompt usually is not visible to the end user, right? But the end user, on the other end, they usually see their message, right? For example, in this case, I said, "Hey Zen, how are you?" And the AI said, "I'm fine, thank you, and you." Right? So all of these three things, system prompt, the user prompt, which is Zen, how are you? And the AI response, we call it assistant prompt. So all of those three prompts, which become become built the part of the context window, right? Which is make the context window, right? So every time, something I want to let you know, every time when you send a message to large language module, the context window is always empty, right? Doesn't matter if the first time you say, hey, how are you? The second time says, what are you doing? Every time when you send a message to large language module doesn't have memories. Maybe it doesn't know like what you said in the past. But hold on, a lot of you might say, hold on, well, it's not true. Like a large module, for example, ChatGPT, obviously know what we are talking about, right? Obviously know what the question I have asked it, right? But how it works is because every time when you send a message, the system prompt, the user prompt, let me just like make them the user prompt and the assistant prompt. They are sent back to the context window, right? So the first time when nothing happens, right? When nothing happens, the context window is empty. And when you say, hey, Zen, how are you? Zen says, hey, how are you? Which is me, right? Then these two prompt has been injected into the context window, right? And then AI come back with response, say, hey, I'm fine, thank you, and you. After that, in the large language module world, these three prompts all be removed, right? And the ChatGPT or whatever chatting tool you're using, what happens, they put somewhere, they have some memory space, which is put those things, or your program, right? They put it somewhere. And the next time, right? The next time, when the user says, hey, what are you doing? send this message. Then what happen is it will put together and along with all the past prompt message and send back to the large language module. So the large language module is not only see your latest message, but also see all the previous message, including the system prompt, right? And then AI says, I'm chatting with you. Like that. So this is the prompt. And how are you going to manage those prompt history? Right? It's called prompt engineering. Right? Simple as that. Right? So there are a lot of things you can do. And maybe, let's say, give an example. Like, even you find AI come back with some responses, says, hey, I'm fine, thank you, and you, for example, like that, right? But when you insert those messages back when user asking a new question, for example, says, hey, what is your name, right? Oh, let's say, what did you just say? What did you say? For example, like that, right? Because we are sending those information back, so AI can find out. Okay, I will say, okay, I said, I'm chatting with you. We say like that. But if when we put those messages back, we manually change the AI response to I'm thinking the meaning of life, for example, like that. And then when you see like this, then AI will not remember what it said in the past. It will only look at the past conversation, which is injected by your prompt engineer. I said, I'm thinking about the meaning of life. So like that. So by prompt engineering, you can manipulate the AI response. You can confuse the memory. Maybe in a good terminology, say you can manage the context, right? For example, you don't want AI say certain things, right? You want restrict AI for doing certain things. You can use prompt engineering to alter the responses, to alter the conversation history, to make AI forget certain things or remember certain things. The reason being, at the end of the day, is because every time when you send the message back to AI, the content window always starting from scratch, from beginning, right? Always coming from the beginning. So that is called prompt engineering. Hope you enjoyed this video. And if you like this video, give a thumb up. And if you can subscribe to the channel and share the content with the family and friend, I'll be very thank you for that. So yeah, wish you found this video informative, and I'll see you in the next video. Talk to you guys later. Bye.